So for those who just joined, my name is Chris Hoffreiter, and I'm a professional services consultant with Motility Software. And the purpose of this webinar is to show deal desking features, in particular the Adobe Sign integration, as well as how to do automated deal desking tasks. Okay, so yeah, without further ado, we'll go ahead and jump in and get started. You should be able to see my screen within the webinar. I can see that I am broadcasting my screen, so I'm going to now open up my financing module from our demo system. And we'll just go ahead and jump right into one of these deals that I have open on my system. So we're going to start by talking about this Adobe Sign. So just a little bit of background. What Adobe Sign allows you to do is print out PDF or Adobe PDF documents, which have a place for the customer to sign. So this is a system that Adobe puts in place. And what you'll need to do is sign up with Adobe and create an account for yourself. And this is something that we can help you out with, creating your Adobe account. But they use a process, a secure process within their own system of transmitting signatures electronically between a client and a customer. I'm sorry, between a client and a company. All right. So the way we've implemented this in the deal is through our forms system. And you might have seen, I know I had a webinar earlier about how we have American Guardian integrated. We also integrate with App One, and that's all through the forms system. Well, this is no different. Our Adobe Sign integration works through the forms menu. So if we go to the quote tab and the print docs tab, you can get a listing of all your print docs buttons. What we'll normally do is we'll assign one of your buttons to be an Adobe Sign button. And that's the way you would actually transmit the documents to your customer so that they can sign them. Now, before we can do that, we have to go ahead and create the documents to be sent. So I'm just going to click on a few forms here and show what it looks like. So here is a borrower's ATFI form. And you can see there's an extra button up here next to the print button. There's a PDF e-sign button that I'm going to click on. So when you click that button, it's going to actually print a PDF document and then save it to a folder. The reason why we do it this way is because you can actually send all the forms as one packet. They all get sent to the customer. They can sign all the forms and send them back as, in one packet. Right. So what we're doing is we're just basically saving PDF files. And I'm going to do another one as well. We have a gap agreement. This gap agreement also has a PDF e-sign button. So I'm going to click that. It's going to do the same thing. It basically, behind the scenes now, it's printing out a PDF document and just saving it to a folder. You don't actually see the folder, but it's kind of behind the scenes within deal desking. We're creating a packet now of forms. So PDF file has been saved. All right, so that's basically it. We print out the forms. I do want to just say that for this to work, our forms department is going to have to load this special form onto your system. So you're not going to see this button pop up until you contact forms@motilitysoftware.com and ask them to go ahead and put certain forms into a format that allows the signature to show up. And that's all a part of the setup. We'll get a list of forms from you that you want to send to the customer. We'll make sure that they're all programmed in here with that button. All right. All right, so then now that we've printed out a couple of forms, I'm going to hit the Adobe Sign button. Now this is going to open up the Adobe Sign interface, okay? So it says deal information up here at the top, and we have Bill Anderson, customer's information listed up here at the top. Now it looks like this is a deal I've used before. So you actually in the middle section here, you can see that there's a deal jacket. The status is signed. So we're going to actually send a second packet now to this customer, right? We already have one that we could look at. All right, so what I want to do is click the Send Documents button, and then it's going to say, okay, enter the name of that you would like for this packet. By default, we're going to call it Deal Jacket, and then we put in the deal number. So 111010 is my deal number. All right, so I'm going to hit OK. That's a good enough name for my packet. If you look at the bottom here, you can see it says it's uploading a file. So what it's doing is it's actually uploading these files to the Adobe system using your Adobe account, which we would have already set up. At this point, we've already set up our Adobe account. That's something that will help you get set up if you want to start using this. So we're saying send documents, so it's going to upload them first, and this does take a little bit of time. As you can see, it's still thinking about it. It does have to upload it to their system behind the scenes. And once it's done, I'll get an email actually notifying me that it's been uploaded. But you just kind of want to let it do that. So now it's uploading the complete packet. That's actually the deal information that we're transmitting to Adobe. All right, there we go. And so now it finally says your upload has been completed. So that's all the forms uploaded. When I hit OK on this, I now have a second deal jacket. And as you can see, there is already one here that says it's been signed because I must have used this in a test before. But right now we have another one that says out for signature. So this is the one I'm really concerned about right now. So what has happened is an email now has been sent to my customer. And that email is going to look like this. I'm going to just bring it into your screen. It just says, Christopher Hoffreiter has sent you deal jacket 111010 to sign. So the customer is going to click this link in order to sign it. And this is where Adobe's secure system comes into play. It's going to open up their web browser. And as you can see, there's a little lock up here at the top. It's going to go to an echosign.com address. So echosign.com, that's going to be the Adobe sign domain. And actually, if you look at the email that you get from to the customer, it's also going to say, okay, echosign@echosign.com. So this is actually Adobe's email address now that has emailed your customer these documents. So at this point, it's pretty much just an Adobe process. They control this part of it. So what the customer is going to do is they can click this little start button, or they can just scroll through the document to find where they need to sign. And they will need to click in all the places where a signature is required. Now, because I did this before, it saved my signature, which is kind of cool. This is an Adobe feature. Adobe will save your signature. I just put an X here, but this is something that you can write whatever you want on the signature line. The customer can actually sign using their finger or their pen or their device. So once they've got a signature in here, I hit next, where it's going to show me the other documents that need a signature. So I'll click there to sign that second document. And then the final thing is I click the blue button at the bottom, click to sign. So just to recap, the customer is actually doing this on their side. They can sign it from home or wherever they have a computer, wherever they're checking their email, this will work. And I've tested it. It does work on a mobile platform as well, so there shouldn't be any issues there. Oh yeah, and I took it off the screen. The customer is going to get a successfully signed message here. It says you successfully signed the agreement, deal jacket with the deal number. And they can also download a copy for themselves. So back here on the deal, I can hit get document, and it contacts Adobe. And as you can see, now we have a deal jacket that's been signed. So if I hit the plus sign next to that, it is going to show you the series of events and the time that they occurred. I can see that this is when I created the document. This is when I sent it. So there were a couple of minutes there as I was talking. And then here's when the customer viewed the document, and here's when they e-signed it. So all of that kind of shows for you. So that's how it works. So you have the ability now to get that. You are also going to be sent an email. You as the dealer, you'll get sent an email from your Adobe account with a copy of the document. So you can actually go and view that document from your email as well. Okay, so that's it. Yeah, and as I said, it's just a simple way and a secure way to get signatures electronically. We can do this on any of your documents, but it's going to depend, mostly it's going to depend on your bank. If you want us to do real financial documents, the bank may or may not allow you to get an Adobe sign on your bank contracts. So that's going to be something to research with each of your banks. However, most of our dealerships are using this right now for their, their own sort of contracts. If you have service contracts that you fund, or to get your signature on, for example, a quote sheet or a buyer's order, stuff like that, you can basically turn this on and start using it. And it works pretty well. Okay, so that takes care of our Adobe Sign integration. You should have a good idea for how it works at this point. And as I said, if it's something that you're interested in, feel free to shoot an email to support@motilisoftware.com, and they'll get the information out to you that you need to get that set up. All right, so the next thing that I have to talk about in this webinar is going to be automation, in particular, how to create automated tasks for your deal desking system. So this is kind of a branch of what we used to call the automated pipeline. So you might have heard of CRM automation or sales automation through Motility software. So this is kind of using the same technology as that, but the idea is you can create tasks for yourself as a finance manager to remind you to do certain things, or to adhere to, prescribed process of like remembering to call customers back after 11 months so that they can come in and renew their contracts. All right, so it's a system of automation that will allow you to get reminders that pop up automatically. And we use a system called tasks. So at the top of any module, you can click on the task button. And this is where that comes into play. All right, so this opens up the Task Command Center. This is an interface that your sales department might use if we have the automation turned on for the CRM. The idea here being that we can create a task for a salesperson to contact a customer after 3 days, 4 days, 5 days. These are just tasks to say, yes, I called this customer, to initiate a sales call. That would be for prospects. Now, you can do the same sort of thing for deal desking. And so that's what I'm going to show you now, is how to create tasks that will automate customer contact based on your deals or your financing. So task command, what a task is just a checkbox. You can think of it like a laundry list. So here we have a complete checkbox. We can assign it to a profit center, department, team. The task is going to be potentially assigned to someone. So as a manager, you could use a task and say, okay, I'm going to choose an employee. I'm going to type in a subject. Please call customer. And I can even load a customer up here. All right. By using this little 3 dots, I can search for a customer. So that's what a task is. Now, when Lavoris logs into his task system, he's going to see this, that it's been assigned to him, and he's just going to come in and mark it as completed by checking off the complete checkbox. So that's basically all a task does. It's just a reminder. A manager can create a task manually like you've seen me do, or we can automate them. And that's what I'm going to talk about, is how to automate these tasks so that they pop up automatically and assign to people automatically as well. So in order to automate the task, we're going to have to click on the Batch Setup button at the bottom of the Task Command Center. So Batch Setup allows you to create tasks for yourself that'll come in automatically. Now, in my test system, I have a lot of batch setups on the left here. We have 1 day prior, 1 week late notification. So these are all automatic tasks. This is actually set up here because this is how our automated pipeline is set up. So most of these that you're seeing are a part of the CRM automation. So I'm just going to be talking through how to create a new task. If you look in your system under the task batch setup, you may or may not have permission to access it. So that would be the first thing to do, is make sure you can get permission or security access to be able to set up these tasks. But once you have access, you can see this screen. You may not see any tasks on the left-hand side. It may just be an empty list if you're not using our automation package. That's most likely what you're going to see is nothing over here on the left. So what you'll do is click on the new batch button at the bottom and just go ahead and type in your description at the top to get started. So I'm going to call this one Finance Task 11 months. That's actually a good place to start. You can basically time these out however it makes sense to you, but whenever you think you're going to want a reminder to contact a customer, this automation allows you to create a reminder for each customer to give them a call on that particular day. Now, creation type, we want that to be auto because this is an automatic task. So down here below, we have document type. We can do deal desking as document type. And then the document status can be used. So for example, if my deal enters a unit delivered status, we can create these tasks based on the status of the document. So in this case, you're probably going to be looking at posted to accounting documents. Since we're doing an 11-month task, we want to see only those customers who their deal has completely finalized. And over here, we can auto assign to finance manager. So these tasks can be assigned to a salesperson or a team leader or a finance manager. In this case, you'll want it to be finance manager since we're doing a finance task. Auto notify. What a notify means is after you've completed a task, we can generate a notification to someone else. Now, since you are the finance manager, it doesn't really matter. You're going to be completing your own task, so you don't need to notify anyone of that. So that brings us to the field section. The field section allows you to specify the criteria for when this task is going to be created. So because I called it an 11-month task, I'm going to want to look at, most likely, you're going to be looking at the delivery date. So depending on when your warranty goes into effect, usually it's delivery date. It might actually be purchase date. So you have purchase date, you also have delivery date. You can key these tasks off. It's going to depend on usually when you start counting the warranty, if it's when they take delivery or when they actually purchased it. So I'm going to select purchase date as an example. And then we go over here to the operator. And we're going to say, okay, so days after one time. So days after one time. And then we can type in the number of days. All right, so for an 11-month task, I'm most likely just going to calculate the days on like a 30-day month. So what I'll do is 11 times 30. Actually, that was a lot easier than I was giving it credit. I could probably have done that in my head. But I use the calculator just to be sure. It's 330 days. So what I'm saying is after 330 days have passed after the purchase date, and that's going to create one of these. So then we have the autocomplete conditions. What an autocomplete condition is, let's say, for example, you don't get to your tasks, or you forget to check your tasks. We can automatically mark them as completed after a certain amount of time. So this is helpful if, like, for example, you have an 11-month task followed by a 12-month task. we may want to, if we don't get to the 11-month task, we want to make sure that we automatically complete it by 12 months so that you don't have 2 tasks for the same customer. So that's why you might use an autocomplete condition. The next thing is to show the due date. So for example, if I want to get this done within 2 days, I can set a 2-day due date on the task. So that's your due date. Now, that brings us now to the actual task that's going to be created for you. And down here at the bottom, you want to type in a subject. So in the subject, we're going to do finance 11-month follow-up. So finance 11-month follow-up. We're not going to assign it to anyone. Department, you probably don't need to have a department because it's going to be automatically assigned to the finance manager whenever it gets created. So that's about all. We don't have to put an entity because it's automatically going to load the customer's entity for that deal. Once it crosses the 11-month threshold, we're going to create a separate task for each customer that you're going to need to call for that 11-month follow-up. And I know that's a very detailed overview, but this is how you can create these tasks for yourself. The idea is you don't actually have to pay Motility software to use these features. They're already turned on in the system. They do take a little bit of time to set up, though. So if you do have questions on this, or if you need any assistance, feel free to contact support@motilitysoftware.com. And if you really run into problems, or if you want a more detailed guide as to how to do this, we can also schedule training. If your dealership has training credits available, then that's something we can look at as well, setting up a training session so you can set up your automated tasks. So that's it. Once I hit save, I now have a task in the system. I can look at it over here on the left. It's going to be my finance, I forget what I called it now, finance 11-month follow-up. Here it is, finance task 11 months. So now that it's over here on the left, it's going to be a part of that schedule. And again, you're just going to be closing out deals like you normally would. It's just that based on that purchase date, we can now create a task that pops up 330 days after that purchase date. So as a part of your normal process, you'll want to come into your task command center, and you're going to see a list just like this up here at the top, where we're seeing all the tasks that are due on today's date. So while we're looking at that, it is going to be filtered by due dates. So maybe we'll want to look at week to date due dates and hit refresh. And this is going to show me all of the tasks for the current week. So this way you don't have to do it every single day. You can just say, okay, you know what? I want to go into the task command center and just do all my callbacks that I'm going to do for my 11-month follow-ups. All right, so that concludes my demonstration here of the task command center. We still have a ton of people in here. Well, actually, you know what? We have a few more people than we started out with. So again, my name is Chris Hoffreiter. I'm going to go ahead and bring this webinar to a close now. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to shoot an email to support@motilitysoftware.com to get more information or to set up training if you'd like to have a training session on these new features. So thanks for your patience, everybody. I hope everybody has a great rest of the day. And again, let support know if you have any questions.